Hi everyone, I'm Donovan, Head Director of Training and Breeding at K9 Control.
Just go get the door.
Which U.S. president owned pit bulls? A. Thomas Jefferson. B. Franklin D. Roosevelt. C. Abraham Lincoln. D. Theodore Roosevelt. Stay tuned in.
Hi, I'm Josh Thompson. I'm a handyman by trade, and this is my wife, Jennifer.
Hello, my name is Jennifer. I'm his wife. I'm a homemaker, which means I'm a nurse, a mom, a waitress, a chauffeur, a teacher.
She's just about everything, especially a nurse. We met in a pizzeria in
We knew each other before then.
Briefly, we had met each other once, but I got a job delivering pizza at a pizzeria in the east end of Long Beach in like 2001. And she used to walk by all the time, and I was always checking her out, you know, trying to get my balls up enough to say something to her. Well, I used to say hi to her every day when she passed, and she used to say hi to me. But finally one day she came into the pizzeria, and now she was on my turf, so I had her. So she came in and she ordered a slice and an iced tea, and I said, "Excuse me, miss, my God, you look nice. Put away your money, I'll buy that slice." And it was a wrap from there. Something like that, right?
Yeah, it was really corny.
It was really corny, but it worked. As you can see, 13 years
And then he took
later.
out his passport and said, "Look, I've been to Japan."
And all over the world.
That's how he got me.
Income taxes just came in, so I was flashing a couple Benzies on the side too. I laid it on thick that day. It was worth it though.
And here we are, 13 years later.
With the family.
Three children.
3 children, a house, a dog, Frankie. And we're here thanks to Frankie, who saved our lives not too long ago. In April of 2011, we were packing our stuff for a big move. We were trying to change our lives, and we were moving from a rough neighborhood. And we briefly had to stay with my sister, who lives in that rough neighborhood. I think it was like April 29th or April or somewhere around there. So we were in anticipation of this move to Connecticut. We had packed our belongings, and it was briefly stored in a U-Haul in front of my sister's house, who happened to live in the same rough neighborhood. You might have heard of it, Far Rockaway, Queens. We were supposed to stay there for a couple weeks while the kids wrapped up school, and then, you know, off to Connecticut. We noticed a group of guys, like some gangsters, hanging out a couple blocks up by the beach, drinking. They were drinking all day, and you know, they were up to no good. But we had an eye on them. We thought everything was all right. I sent my wife and my sister to the store to get some cigarettes and some cold drinks because we were just finishing up the move. These guys, we could see them as my sister and my wife were walking back. These drunk guys were about 50 yards behind and haggling them, you know, making sexual comments and lewd comments. You know, as they approached the house, everything was fine. The girls were safe. They were with us again, so everything was cool. You know, we thought everything would be fine. You know, and I happened to be with Donovan's brother, Patrick Donovan. I don't know if you guys had the pleasure of meeting him yet. Great guy. And you know, he had helped me complete the move. So we were hanging out, and these guys walked up, and they tried to strong arm the U-Haul from us out of nowhere. Turned into a robbery.
Everyone had went into the house. And when Patrick came out of the house, he caught the guy going into the truck. He was trying to steal our stuff. And that's when Patrick said, "Get away from my friend's truck."
You know, Patrick seen it, like had the foresight to see it coming, and had spoken up and said, "This isn't happening. This is my friend's U-Haul, and this robbery's not, if you guys think you're taking our stuff, it's not happening." And that's when things turned ugly. So Patrick backs the guy off and says, "Listen, if you think you're getting that truck, you gotta go through me." So the guy, you know, called Patrick out. So Pat gently put down his book bag and said, "I think you're making a big mistake." Well, the guy kept going. So the guy calls Pat out. You know, he swings at Pat. Pat ducks, hits him with a left, knocks him unconscious. The guy gets up in disbelief. You can't do that again. You can't do that again. Takes another swing at Pat with the right. Pat ducks down, knocks him out with the right. Now the guy is furious in a rage. He can barely stand. He gets back up for the third time and said you can't do that a third time, and tried to grab Pat and body slam him, and Pat reversed it and slammed this gentleman so hard that there was a cloud of dust and he was unconscious on his back on the floor.
He warned him a few times, walk away. You don't want.
This was after, yeah. 3 warnings he gave him. He said, please don't make me do this to you. So here he is, 3 times laid out in a cloud of dust. He gets up, he jumps on his cell phone right away. So faster than this guy could get off the cell phone, a van pulls up loaded with 5 guys. Now I'm going to pause the story there for a second and give you a little history of what's been going on. Early on in the year, I had rescued a pit bull, Frankie. Jonathan, bring Frankie over here. This is my dog, Frank, and this is my son, Jonathan.
Say hi, Jonathan. What's up?
Okay, he's shy. He's a shy guy. But Frankie's not that shy. He's a hand. Okay, so here we are, 6 guys in a van. Me, Pat, my wife, my children playing ball in the street, and my wacky sisters running around somewhere. The guys jump out and they're like, what's going on? What happened with my brother? I tried my best to disarm him. Like, listen, your brother had a fight with Pat. They fought it out 3 times. Pat beat him 3 times. Just lick your wounds and go. They weren't trying to hear it. They demanded some kind of retribution. Now, there were 2 choices at that point. We either give the U-Haul up or we try to get away. We tried to get away, but they chased us up the driveway. As they came up the driveway, I gave them the option. I said, listen, I have the dog. I'm going to let the dog loose. Get off the property. We had enough. They didn't listen. They started picking weapons up from the garbage. 2 guys grabbed the 2x4. 1 guy grabbed the steel pipe. Me and Pat start fighting. Pat gets hit over the middle of the head with a steel pipe so hard it pings when it hits his forehead and goes 40 feet in the air back, and I could hear it clank on the ground behind us. Pat just turned on. Now you got me mad. The brawl takes off. I cut the dog loose on the closest guy to me. The guy, Frankie, locks on his stomach and then regrips on his testicle. He has the guy on the floor. He's dragging him around rapidly. His friends are watching in disbelief. We're still trying to back him off. I'm backing him off. Listen, back off, back off. I'll get the dog, I'll get the dog. So they pulled weapons from the garbage. It was already too late. It was on. We were watching the guy rip this guy. We were watching the dog destroy this guy. And that's when you told me to call the dog off.
Right, because the guy went from trying to fight Frankie to get Frankie off of him till he stopped. So he looked like he was dead. He must have passed out or something. So that's when I told Josh to, get the dog off of him. And as Josh was getting the dog off the man, I was on the phone trying to get the police, and that's when the other guy attacked me.
I bent over to get the dog off of him because this guy was destroyed. As I bent over, the first shock of pain was a shock of the 8-foot 2x4 crashing along my back. The second shock was watching the same 8-foot 2x4 go across my wife's head, knocking her unconscious.
It was so bad, I got 12 staples. Because
her head was open. It was a gaping wound, blood streaming down her. She was lying there in the dirt. I thought she was dead. Thank God I'm an EMT and I cleared the airway and I just maintained the neck stabilization. I crawled over to her because I couldn't even stand up. I was on the floor and paralyzed in pain, and my wife was on the phone with the police at the same time. And in the 911 call, as evidence, they had the 911 call. They could hear the crash of the 2x4 across her head,
hitting the ground,
smashing her glasses and the cell phone. and her head, all in one shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with the last burst of energy that I had, I got up for a split
You want
second
to hit me again,
to
right?
grab the 2x4. Yeah, on a second guy, I jumped up with my last bit of strength and grabbed onto the 2x4 and fell with it. I wouldn't let go of it, and that's when they began to ran. You know, the dog had one guy, and they started. That's when they started running, and you know, they left us there lying there in blood.
They tried to run Frankie over, and you ran towards the street and grabbed him.
Right, that's right.
Out of the street with him.
He hit Frankie with the 2x4 and then jumped in the van to run us over.
Right,
but he couldn't get Frankie off.
Right.
Frankie wouldn't let go, even when he hit him with the 2x4.
Frankie wouldn't let go at all.
Frankie would not let go. He was on him. He had that guy.
He was in
hook, line, and sinker.
Frankie was in a lot of pain for 2 months after that.
See, a lot of stuff happened in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Because we were outnumbered, so we were being attacked from so many different ways that our defenses were just the dog, and at first we were fighting, but after I got hit with the 2x4, I could no longer fight. Pat was still fighting. Another guy on the side who hit him in the head with a steel pipe. When the cops arrived,
they all got away.
There was a lot going on, and they all managed to get away on foot and in the van. So I explained to the cops that I cut the dog loose on them, and that when I bent over to take the dog off him, that I had gotten hit with a 2x4. And the cops, ironically, the cops said I should have left the dog, went inside, called the police, and let the dog kill him. I just didn't have the heart to do that. The cops said that I should have let the dog eat him.
Yeah.
You know, but me being, having the heart that I have, I couldn't watch it anymore. He was mutilating him. It was no longer, the guys were no longer a threat. They were ripped apart. There were pieces missing. They weren't the same anymore.
You got 2 guys really good.
Yes.
2 of them.
I mean, just seeing the tips of one guy's hand, the tips of his fingers missing, that was horrible enough.
And an ear, half an ear.
The cheek, the trap muscle that was pulled out of the skin. But I told them, you know, that what had happened, and that I had cut the dog loose on one of them, and I think we knew the names of 2 of the suspects. The third and fourth guy, we didn't know their names, but we knew that they would be found by their dog bites, because their dog bites were so serious that they would have to check into a hospital somewhere.
He went out of state.
They went to another state to seek medical care, but word comes back through the town that, you know, one of the guys lost their cheek, their ear, the 3 tips of their fingers, and one of their testicles, and another guy will permanently walk with a walker because he ripped out the Achilles heel and the calf muscle of the other guy. So 2 guys were permanently injured by my dog for their attempted robbery. 2 of them are in prison now as we speak. The cops said the biggest mistake I made was taking the dog off him, and they called Frankie a hero. Yeah, Frank. Up. Come here, Frankles. Give me kisses. Give me kisses. Give me kisses.
He's a good boy.
He's not too happy today. He's a lazy bone. He has the life, this guy.
He's a good boy.
But this calm, beautiful beast that you see right here, he would lay his life down for his family.
Come on.
He's the most loyal pit bull.
Good boy.
I mean, they say all these stereotypical things about the pit bull. Look at him. Look at that mush.
My kids.
He's good with my family, my kids.
He's great.
Everybody, right?
Great. He loves children.
He sleeps in between. He sleeps in between my kids on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Like he believes that he's one of them.
He'll lay on their heads.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, he gets mad if I tell him to get off the bed.
He gets mad if he barks at
He gets mad. He barks at me. He thinks he's a child. Mm-hmm. He thinks
and he puts on dead weight so we can't get him off.
This guy, if I try to get him off the bed, he lays on his back and dead weights us.
Mm-hmm.
Like
to make
like
it hard
a
for us to get him off the
little
bed.
3-year-old.
He's a spoiled little shit.
He's a spoiled little shit.
You hear something.
Yo, motherfucker! You got some money or not? You got some fucking money? Alright? I'm fucking sick. I'm 250 Let him look down. Let him breathe.
Good boy. Good boy.
Hey, who's that? Get off the couch. Who's that? Hey, I don't want the water. I don't want the water. Please, please, don't. Please, please.
Good boy. Good boy. I credit my life to Frankie. You know, Frankie earned his room and board for the rest of his life. He's a champion. He gets to live the lazy life now. You know, but he's on call. He's still on call. Don't get me wrong. Frankie's still on call. He hasn't lost his magic touch.
If you chose D, you were right.
Hi everybody, and thanks for watching Canine Control TV. I'd also like to say a word here about animal rescue. I'd like to thank the countless animal shelters, humane societies, and private citizens who have fostered and helped to adopt out the millions of animals that remain in our shelters today that have no permanent homes. And I'd like to take this moment also to encourage you to please consider adoption as an option for your new pet. And don't forget to subscribe to our show at youtube.com/Canine Control TV show. Also, you can check us out at our website, caninecontroltv.com, or look us up on Facebook, Canine Control TV. Thanks a lot again for watching, and don't forget to adopt. Not Macho Productions.